in because you're using every tool at your disposal, which is gonna get you optimum search results. Man, I'm passionate about that. Can you tell how strongly I feel about this? Because I feel really super strongly about this. Hi everyone, it's Lindey. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about all of the reasons your items might not be selling on eBay and what you can do to fix that.
Hi, I'm Lindey, a real-life work-from-home mom with multiple online businesses. I like to buy stuff, sell stuff, make money while saving money, and have some fun in the process. Be sure to subscribe if you'd like to learn how you can do it too, and follow my journey with new videos every week.
So this is really a last minute, spur of the moment kind of thing, because I had just previously done a video on Monday during the live stream where we talked about why reselling is not dead, and reselling is always going to be something that you can make money doing. And then the other day, I noticed that Ashley, Hustle at Home Mom, put up a video talking about all of the reasons your listings might not be selling on eBay, and that really inspired me to do this video because I really like a lot of the points that she was making in that video. And if you don't already follow Ashley, Hustle at Home Mom, you definitely should be. So I'll go ahead and link the video I'm referring to down in the video description if you haven't seen it yet. But I really wanted to take this opportunity to not just build on the list that she already created, but to also add some things that I have noticed myself. Right now, before I get into the top reasons why I think your item might not be selling and how to fix it, make sure to give this video a like. Hit that thumbs up button for me. I really appreciate it. That lets me know that you like and appreciate content like this so that I can continue to make it. So one of the points that Ashley made I thought was spot on is that if you aren't getting consistent sales on eBay, it's because you don't have enough listings up. So eBay has never been a platform, and I do not believe it will ever be a platform, to where you can simply list 5 items and just wait and have all 5 of those items sell instantaneously. It's the kind of platform where you have to be adding a stock of merchandise to the platform in order to get those regular reoccurring daily sales. Now, that's not to say that you have to list new merchandise every single day, but you can't simply list 5 items a week and expect to have a sale every single day. It is a math equation essentially, because the more items you have listed, the more likelihood you have to have reoccurring daily sales. And that really is simple math. The more items you have available for sale, the more likely you are to sell an item every single day. Something else that comes into play here is sell-through rate. Sell-through rates are super important, and they definitely vary depending on what category you're selling in. So Ashley sells a lot of clothing items. So she was talking about, how many items she has to have listed in order to get, maybe 1% of sell-through rate every single day to generate those daily sales. But if you don't want to have 1,000 items listed, if you want to have fewer items listed but still be able to have daily sales, you need to pay attention to sell-through rate, and that does vary depending on what categories you're selling in. For instance, when I was selling clothing, I was noticing that the sell-through rate was really, really low, and you really did have to have a lot of backstock of merchandise in order to start generating regular daily sales. And when I mean a lot, I mean a lot. I remember I had to have 2,000 clothing items listed in order to sell 5 to 10 of those a day. 2,000 clothing items to sell 5 to 10 a day. Now, depending on the quality, style, type, brand of clothing that you're selling, you could have a higher sell-through rate or you could have a lower sell-through rate. But clothing is one of those categories that is notorious for having a really low sell-through rate, which means you have to list even more stuff in order to have reoccurring daily sales, which is why I personally stopped selling clothing. And I did an entire video all about that, and I'll go ahead and link that up here. But that's not to say you can't make any money selling clothing. What I'm trying to point out with this is if you are only selling clothing and you're having trouble getting daily consistent sales, you need to be listing more, or you need to be striving to find items in clothing that have a higher sell-through rate, like more desirable brands. You need to focus more on higher quality that sells for more money. And if you're selling lower dollar clothing items, you are going to have to increase the number of items that you're selling even more. So bottom line, if you are not having regular daily sales on the eBay platform, the chances are you just simply don't have enough merchandise listed. Because the key thing to remember here is the more items you have available listed for sale, the more likelihood you have of selling those items. So if you have 1,000 items listed, you have more of a chance of selling regularly on a daily basis than if you only have 50 items listed. And again, if you don't want to have 1,000 or 2,000 items listed, if you want to have a store that's smaller that has more like 50 or 100 items listed, you might want to start experimenting with other categories of merchandise that have a higher sell-through rate. So if you're trying one category and you're not having the sell-through rate or the daily consistent sales that you're hoping to have with a store that size, you might want to consider branching out and trying other categories. Also, you probably want to consider if you're selling an item that is oversaturated. So now I'm not just talking about selling in an oversaturated market, I'm also talking about selling a particular item that has a lot of competition on the platform. You know, for instance, if you're trying to sell rose gold electric glitter candles and there's 10,000 listed on the platform, it's gonna be really hard to try to sell yours in a timely manner. So what you need to spend your time looking at is how many items that you are selling of this exact item, how many are currently listed versus how many have sold in the last 90 days. So if you're trying to sell an item that has 1,000 listings that you're competing against, but only 30 have sold in the last 90 days, that's probably why your item isn't selling. But on the other hand, if you have an item that you're only competing against, say, 50 other listings, and there are 200 that have sold in the last 90 days, that means that there's a bigger problem. You need to check and make sure that your pictures are good and that your price is competitive with those 50 other listings that you're competing against. Because if 200 items have sold in the last 90 days and you're only competing against 50 listings, there's a bigger problem. You need to make sure that you're not overpricing your item to drive the traffic to those other competing listings. You need to make sure that you have enough photos and that your photos look good, they're well lit, and there are plenty of them. And you need to make sure that you have just as many keywords as your competition so that buyers can find your item easily and you can rank in search with those other 50 listings. And then if your item is in a saturated market, if you are one of 1,000 of that identical item and the sell-through rate is really low, say maybe one a day, and there's 1,000 listed, then it becomes a matter of being better than those other sellers. And that means you're gonna have to have better keywords. You're gonna have to have a better price. You're gonna have to have better pictures because you're competing against 1,000 other listings and only one is selling a day. And if your pictures aren't better, if your keywords aren't better, and your price isn't better, that's probably why that item is not selling. Another reason why your item might not be selling on eBay is you're not utilizing keywords. Shoppers are buying based on a search term or search phrase. So if you are missing some of the most important keywords in your title, you are missing out on getting eyeballs on your item. So if you're trying to sell a rose gold candle, for instance, and your title is simply rose gold flameless candle, you're really not utilizing all of the keyword potential that you have to get buyers to find your candle. You might want to say something more like rose gold electric LED light 90-day extended time ambiance candle. I don't know. I'm just pulling words out. But you get what I mean. You know, you have so many characters, I believe it's 70 characters to fill up a title. Simply saying rose gold flameless candle What's that gonna do? That's not gonna get anybody excited. What if someone is specifically looking for an LED candle? You didn't even put LED in the title. You need to use all of those characters to your advantage so that buyers can find your listing. So if you have a bunch of items that have really short, simple, sweet titles, that could be a reason why your item's not selling, because buyers can't find the listing because you're not utilizing all of the necessary keywords. So be safe. Fill the title with all of the best keywords that you can think to describe your item. And then also repeat that title in your description. That is something that I started doing. It's something that I learned after talking to several different eBay employees. I always repeat my title in the description of my listing. The more words, the merrier. And then the seller tools. This is something that I am always preaching to you guys. Anytime I talk about increasing sales in eBay, I always talk about utilizing the seller tools that eBay provides us. That means running markdown sales, doing promotions, promoted listings, utilizing best offer or free shipping. All of those tools that eBay gives us to try to drive sales in our eBay store. Now, do you need to use all of them? No, but I do highly recommend that you experiment with all of them and figure out which ones trigger results for you. For instance, I know a lot of people swear by promoted listings. I have personally tried promoted listings. I didn't really see any results that made it worth wanting to pay extra. However, if you are selling in an oversaturated category, if you are, with that example of there's 1,000 competing listings and only one a day is selling, if it's super competitive and your item's not selling, you might want to consider doing promoted listings. Use 1, 2, 3, maybe even 5%, pay an extra fee to have your listing promoted, because that'll boost you a little bit higher as a sponsored listing in the eBay search. So if you have a lot of competition, promoted listings might work well for you. Me, on the other hand, I do sometimes have a lot of competition, but then a lot of the times I don't feel like the competition is enough. So I just felt like promoted listings was kind of throwing my money away. But I find that all of my sales happen when I'm running a markdown, which is why I always talk to you guys about the importance of running markdown sales. I have an entire video all about it. I'll go ahead and link it up here if you missed it. And I am always having sales running, always having them starting, always having them end. I feel like markdown sales are crucial to an optimum search result in eBay. And here's the reason for all of this, right? This is the reason for me always preaching about using those eBay seller tools, is because eBay wants us to get sales. eBay wants the sellers to sell things because eBay makes a percentage off of every single sale. So when eBay is starting to see that sellers are using the tools that we are given to try to drive those sales, it's going to in turn cause higher optimum search results. It's going to get more eyeballs on our item. If you are one of 1,000 listings selling something that doesn't have a very high sell-through rate, and eBay sees that you have best offer, you're using promoted listings, you're trying to run sales, you're running promotions like buy one, get one 50% off. eBay sees that you as the seller, you're really trying. You're using those tools that are at your disposal to try to drive sales in your store. And so eBay is going to be more likely to have the algorithm trigger your listing to be higher, because eBay wants you to sell your items so that they can make money off you. So if you're not utilizing these eBay tools to try to drive sales, you are seriously missing out. Not just because the buyer sees that there's a promotion or a sale or best offer or free shipping. Not just because the buyer sees that, but because eBay sees that. The algorithm picks up on you as the seller really trying to sell your item because you're using every tool at your disposal, which is gonna get you optimum search results. Man, I'm passionate about that. It's just one of those things whenever I talk to other sellers and I see that other sellers are not utilizing these tools, it's such a wasted opportunity. Use the tools. If you're not getting consistent sales in eBay, use the tools. Something else that I always preach to you guys is accepting offers. Accept offers, because I can't explain it. I don't have the cold hard data to show you that it's proven to work. But I'm telling you, in my experience, accepting offers triggers more sales almost all the time. all the time in my experience, if I accept a best offer, within an hour or two, I get another full price sale. Not another offer, another full price sale. I have this routine now, and I'll probably end up making a video about it eventually, but I have this daily routine now where usually I will wake up in the morning and I will have at least one offer. At least one offer came in overnight. Sometimes I'll have two, sometimes I'll have five, but I'll at least have one offer when I wake up in the morning. And I almost always accept it. Almost always. Unless that offer is ridiculous and it's going to cause me to lose money, I'll accept it. Because you know why? You know why? I'll tell you why. Because that starts my day off with a freaking sale. And then it's like a domino effect. You know, I wake up and first thing in the morning, I'm accepting an offer. I've already triggered a sale in my eBay store. It just gets the ball rolling because eBay's like, dang, this seller's already making money at 6 a.m. Let's throw some more eyeballs at her stuff. Can you tell how strongly I feel about this? Because I feel really super strongly about this. So if you're not doing best offer, I highly recommend you try best offer because it causes that snowball effect. If you just have straight up buy it now listings in your store and you're not seeing sales, that might be why. Not just because everybody wants to send an offer, but because of all of the reasons I previously mentioned. Because eBay wants to see sellers using the tools. Best offer is a tool. Best offer also helps you see if you've overpriced your item. That is always one of the things that I look for if anybody ever asks me to, check their eBay store. If I'm doing a coaching call, people want me to look at their eBay store. That's one of the first things I check is their prices against the current listed market of those identical items. And there is a lot of times things are overpriced. And one of the benefits to having best offer on that listing is if the price does go down, say, when you listed your item, that price was perfectly acceptable. It was right in the market. But then over the last couple of months, the market has gone down and now you're crazy overpriced compared to your competition. What best offer does is it tells you if you're overpriced. If you have an item listed for $40, but over the last 30 days, the price has dropped to $20 and you just didn't notice it because you've listed your item and you're just simply waiting for it to sell. If someone sends you a $20 offer, maybe that's perfectly, well in the market for the item and you just don't know it. But if you don't have best offer on that item and your item is just sitting there listed for $40, you're overpriced, you might not have realized it unless you're diving a lot more into your listings like I talked about earlier, you're overpriced for your market or you just have too much competition and you're not competitive enough. Best offer gives you the opportunity to sell your items without having to pay close attention to your prices on a daily basis. And then when you take those offers, it triggers more sales because it's like it wakes up your eBay store. It's like it starts telling the eBay algorithm, hey, this seller is making money. Let's raise their items higher in search because we're starting to make money off them. Let's get more eyeballs on their stuff. Let's see what other things that this seller has to offer that buyers are going to want to buy so we can get our percentage. I feel like really super animated today. Maybe it's because I'm on like cup number 4 and this is the big cup. That, and I'm just really passionate about helping you guys increase your eBay sales because there's so many opportunities to sell merchandise on the eBay platform. There's so many things that you should be paying attention to have regular, consistent sales. Because if your stuff isn't selling, there is a reason. And one of those reasons might be, this is where it gets a little sad, and I'm sorry to say this, but you might be trying to sell something that people don't want. Now, that's not to say that somebody might not ever want that item, but it's gonna take a while for that one buyer to find it. Because I do believe that there is a buyer for everything, but if you're selling something that one buyer wants and it's gonna take them 10 years to find it on eBay, it's probably why your item's not selling right now. So it's up to you as the seller to decide if you are selling something that just nobody really wants right now, and you have to determine how long you're willing to let that item sit on the eBay platform while you wait for that buyer to come along. Which leads me to my next point is that a lot of sellers are impatient. Now, hello pot, meet kettle. I am super impatient all the time in every aspect of my life. I am super impatient. I definitely want instant gratification on everything. Just ask my husband. I don't want to wait for anything. But I'm telling you, if you want to have consistent sales on eBay, you have to have some level of patience. You cannot list something and expect it to sell within a week every single time. The only time that might be applicable is if you have done your research to find products that have such a crazy high sell-through rate that you know that it will sell within a week, and if it doesn't sell within a week, there's a bigger problem. But for the most part, items can be listed for 1, 2, 6 months, a year or two down the road. There are some sellers that have such long tail items, they will list their item and they will wait 10 years for it to sell because that's what they're cool with. So especially if you're a seller that's just getting started, if you have these rose-colored glasses on and you have this idea that you're going to list your item and it's going to sell within 30 days, the chances of that happening are very, very slim. So you might not only need to have some patience when it comes to waiting for an item to sell, but you also need to have some patience building up your eBay store. Not because buyers might only want to buy from sellers that have a really super high feedback score or are a top rated seller, but because you as a seller really need to learn how the platform works, what items sell best for you, and you also need to prove to eBay that you are a trustworthy seller. You know, that's one of the reasons why eBay has all of this criteria that you have to reach before you start to, you know, have your limits raised. You know, if you're a brand new seller, there might be some restrictions on your account, like you can only list so many dollars worth of merchandise or so many active listings, because eBay is trying to protect buyers from sellers who are looking to scam them by opening up a new account. You really need to take the time to let eBay trust you. You really need to take the time to sell items over a course of time, start getting some feedback from buyers so that eBay knows that you are a trustworthy seller. You also need to use that time to gain some relevancy in certain categories of eBay. There are some sellers on the eBay platform that only sell in certain categories, and those are the categories that they have dominated for years. These sellers have proved to eBay for years now, time and time again, that buyers buy these kind of items from them, leave positive feedback, therefore they automatically have optimum search results in the eBay platform because they are sellers that have been proving themselves worthy of selling in that category on the platform. So for instance, if you are a seller that's trying to sell these rose gold LED flameless candles, and you're up against a seller who's been selling candles like this on eBay for the last 10 years. They have 10,000 feedback. They've proven to eBay that buyers like what they're selling because they have a lot of feedback just on these candles. If you're a brand new seller that's just coming out of nowhere trying to sell this candle to somebody, there's no way right away you're going to be able to compete with a seller that has been selling a ton of these for the last 10 years. And that is relevancy. You have to have some sort of relevancy for the items that you're selling. Not relevancy on a particular item like a rose gold candle, but housewares or clothing or cosmetics. You need to have some sort of sales history built up in that category to start to show eBay that you are selling quality merchandise on their platform. And that takes time. You need to have some patience. When I suddenly stopped selling jeans and I switched everything over to beauty merchandise, I had zero relevancy in those categories. I had zero relevancy in cosmetics. Zero relevancy in oral hygiene. eBay had no idea if I was trying to sell buyers crap or if I was trying to sell them the best beauty products on the market. It took time. It took time for me to start getting the ball rolling on those sales, the time for buyers to start leaving me feedback, because feedback on those items is what shows eBay that you as a seller did a really good job. And that's not to say that you have to have relevancy in these items in order to start getting sales, but it starts to help get the ball rolling. And that takes patience. You know, being an eBay seller is not something that you can just suddenly wake up one day, quit your job, and start making regular, reoccurring, consistent money at. I've been an eBay seller for 14 years now, and I have never experienced crazy consistency in sales. Ever. but it does take some level of patience to learn and to get better. It doesn't always happen overnight. So if you're not having regular, consistent sales and you know that your prices are good, you know that your pictures are good, you know that you're selling stuff that people want, you might just have to be patient and wait for some relevancy. And the last bit of advice that I have, if your items are not selling on eBay, is, did you just list them and completely forget about them? In my experience, eBay is a platform that requires constant attention. So if you're just listing items one day a week and then you're never looking or adjusting the platform again, that might be part of the problem. eBay, in my opinion, is super duper needy. Like that needy girlfriend that's always wanting you to tell her she's pretty. She always wants you to go in and smile at her. She's always wanting you to look her up and down and tell her how good she looks. She's always wanting you to take her out to dinner. She's always wanting you to text her back within the first 5 minutes. eBay is the same way. eBay wants you to leave feedback for buyers every day. eBay wants you to at least open the app and scroll through your listings. eBay wants you to revise your listings to try to make it better. eBay wants you to pay attention. Show the site some love. One of the key phrases that I've been saying for years now is an active store is a happy store. And as a seller, if on a daily basis you're doing things like revising your listings, adjusting your price points, running sales, shipping to customers, leaving feedback, you're regularly paying your eBay fees even when they're not due. And yes, that is a thing. I literally pay my eBay fees every other day. I do not only pay it once a month when it's due. I am always paying my eBay fees. It's kind of like, you know, taking her out to lunch, at least every other day, throwing a little bit of money at her, letting her know that I know she's there and I appreciate her. You have to give it attention. If you just list things and never look at the eBay platform again, except for maybe to ship some items here and there, that could be your problem. And I do have a video about revising listings, tweaking things to try to increase your sales. I'll go ahead and put that link up here too. I do feel like it is full of useful information. It's a super popular video on my YouTube channel. It's boosting your eBay sales by doing little tweaks, being active. So if you're not getting consistent sales on eBay, maybe that's the problem. All right, you guys, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you found it helpful, I would appreciate you sharing it with somebody that you feel might benefit from this information. Now, I also want to hear from you. Leave a comment down below. What is a tip that you have or a reason you think that an eBay listing might not be selling? Drop it down in the comments below. It's a really amazing opportunity for us to all learn from each other so that we can all increase our sales and make more money. Don't forget to check the video description. I will put some useful information in there as well as some video links that you might find beneficial. Also, I'll go ahead and link to Ashley Hustle at Home Mom's video down there as well. And do remember to subscribe if you haven't already and make sure to hit the notification bell. That way YouTube will let you know whenever I post a new video. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I will see you with my next video. Bye-bye.